All right, let's take it to España. Real Betis taking on Sevilla. El Gran Derby. It's always a party, especially in the Benito Villamarín. A beautiful setting here. Really looking forward to this match, especially Manuel Pellegrini wanting to get his first victory against Sevilla. To the 17th minute, a long ball. Dodi Luquevacchio, Ruben Vargas slams this one home. Eventually 1-0 to Sevilla, Alex.
In the hottest derby in Spain.
It really is.
Forget about Madrid Atleti, forget about Barcelona Español. Good play by Luquevacchio, being composed and waiting for his teammate to arrive.
But Betis was the one to arrive. Johnny Cardoso puts this one away. What a smart play.
Johnny Cardoso not known for his goal-scoring ability. You wouldn't know if you saw this goal.
Right.
That's a goal scorer's goal. Great finish off the volley.
I always love a volley. Let's take it to beyond the 45th minute. Isco with a nice flick. Juan Cucho Hernandez slots it home, Alex.
If you are a defender, you don't want to commit like the central defender of Sevilla, because you open the door for Isco to sending that through ball.
Yeah, it was a really impressive game here. As Seppi's cleared away, volleyed on goal. Anthony is the one who saved it. He's been having a good time.
This is a finish right here that just shows you how much confidence he has. Off the instep, on the volley, going top corner, ridiculous strike.
Yeah, ridiculous strike, a ridiculous game here. What an effort there by Cardoso again, Alex.
Everyone was taking care of the rest of the offensive players, like Isco, like Anthony, and he took his chance. This is massive for Betis. This is the first time that Manuel Pellegrini defeats their neighbors.
Yeah, it was a really weird stat just because we always think of Manuel Pellegrini in such a different form too. So congrats to him and Betis and doing it at home as well. But let's focus on the standouts. Johnny Cardoso, what has his role turned into here for Betis, Alex?
He's like a Roomba in the middle of the park. He goes everywhere. He covers all the areas. He's the bodyguard of the creative players. So if you want Isco to really flourish, if you want Pablo Fornals to really flourish, you need a guy who's got their backs. Look his movements. This is his heat map. A few yards behind the halfway line, a few yards in front of the halfway line, but rarely setting a foot in the box, in the opposition's box. That's his task. But Pellegrini also wants him to roam around, to come unexpected from deeper runs and be able to hurt the opponents. He's in a great form. He's been combining with Altimira in the middle of the park, but I really like this matchup with Johnny Cardoso, Pablo Fornals, and Isco, because Isco may drop his position a little bit to start orchestrating the game, and then he can just step up and appear unexpected. He's got great physicality. He's good in the air as well. He's quite a player. I really like him.
You're not the only one. I mean, Spurs already has an option on him where they can pay over, I believe it's $25 million if they pull that trigger for a player like Johnny Cardoso. This is typical Johnny Cardoso. We saw the goal he scored against Real Madrid. Now he scores a goal in a Clásico. And you ask yourself, why can't he break into the U.S. men's national team? Why is a player with that pedigree at such a young age, who's touted by so many in La Liga, in the Premier League, had a great success in Serie A, in Brazil and Serie A over there. Why can't he break into the national team? He's got all the traits. You said he's a bodyguard, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I see a player along with those bodyguard traits, along with the ability to get into attack, along with the ability to control the game defensively, to have a certain element of touch into his game. He's got certain vision. You could see it in the...
He's decent passing the ball.
Shot creation he creates for others. He's a very good player, so why can't he crack into the national team? And the only answer is because Tyler Adams is in front of him in the national team.
And Weston McKennie.
But even then, yeah, because you can say, well, it doesn't have to be just Tyler Adams. You're not moving Weston McKennie. And maybe some fans would argue, well, you should move Weston McKennie after what we saw in the Nations League. That's what many fans would argue, and that could be a case. But if you had a game today to advance to the next round in a World Cup qualification match, it's not going to be Johnny. It's going to be Tyler Adams. It's going to be Weston McKennie.
Yunus Musa, maybe.
Maybe Yunus Musa. Unfortunately for Johnny,
not to nitpick, but Tyler Adams just came back from injury, right? So maybe you would think about Johnny Cardoso just because of that situation.
Here's another knock on Johnny, and I think Johnny's, honestly, when you look at what he's doing in La Liga, and you're like, that's a very good player. Yeah. Here's the knock. When he has had an opportunity with the U.S. men's national team, he's not taking advantage of it. In fact, he's been pretty abysmal at that. The game versus Canada, he gets stripped. Canada has some chances. The game versus Colombia in the United States, the U.S. gets absolutely humiliated against Colombia right before the Copa America. Johnny doesn't have a good game. It's the games that he has had where he's not necessarily showered himself in glory, but he's still young and he's got traits you don't see in this pool.
And having a manager like Manuel Pellegrini is a blessing for him, because Manuel Pellegrini has a knack for developing players. He can develop young talent. Look what he did with Santi Cazorla back in the day, more than 10 years ago at Malaga. He made him a superstar at Malaga. Then he went to Arsenal, and we all know the rest of the story. Look what he did with Joaquin. He gave Joaquin at Malaga in the same team a second life. He just gave him 10 more years of career. What he did with Isco himself before Isco was considered a star. Isco was rescued. Isco was cut off from Valencia's youth system. Pellegrini welcomed him. Pellegrini made the team just work around him, and he flourished. And he even gave Juan Román Riquelme at Villarreal a second life after he had failed miserably at Barcelona. So having Manuel Pellegrini is also a plus for Johnny Cardoso, because he's not only surrounded by great players like Isco, Anthony, El Cucho Hernández, he's also having a great manager that can polish his skills and make him reach the next level.
Yeah, I'm sure he's taking advantage of that. El maestro, Manuel Pellegrini. El ingeniero. Thank you for correcting me. And someone also taking advantage of having him as a manager, Cucho Hernández, Alex.
Oh, and he's linking up so well with Isco. Just take a look at the goal that he scored. That timing is so perfect with Jesus Rodriguez on the left-hand side, who's a youngster as well, flourishing under Pellegrini. Look at those sharp passes, just two combinations.
That's a sick play.
And then what about the finish? Calm and composed.
Yep.
And yeah, Romario-esque, just with the top of the tip of the boot. No backlift, no chances for Nyland to get to that ball. And the chemistry that El Cucho Hernández is developing already with Isco and Anthony, that is priceless for Betis. That's why they have improved so much in this second leg, because they have assembled a brand new team from the holding midfielders up front. Yeah. So they moved Jesus Rodriguez, who is a kid who's only 19. He started playing on the right. They moved him to the left. Isco is back after the injury. And now they've got Anthony on the right, plus El Cucho Hernández. They've got a brand new setup, offensively new setup.
And Cucho's so unique as a 9 because he's a 9.5. He plays with a 10's brain, and he has the ability to facilitate. And when he loses the ball, it's like having another 8 on the team. He gives you an honest work rate. He really is a complete player. I didn't think he would have this type of impact so fast. And then turn on the TV, he's playing against Real Madrid, and you're like, oh, he should have buried that one, but it's the touch, ridiculous touch. It's the turn, it's the shot. You can see him putting things together at a very high level.
Yeah. And he knows La Liga as well. He has played for Getafe, for Huesca, several teams in La Liga.
Yeah, someone settling in really well in La Liga, though, is definitely Anthony. And we know that he's here on loan from Manchester United. Speaking of reviving